I'm Erica, and it's my mission to help you take control of your fertility and get pregnant faster.
This weekend, one thing that is helping us with is making informed decisions so that when you go through all these processes, you know exactly what you are deciding on. That's what I'm getting. And our next, it's Erica Hoke, and she's from the States. Erica Hoke is a mother of 4 boys. After struggling for years with undiagnosed endometriosis, uterine fibroids, PCOS, thyroid diseases, factor V, Leiden and MTHFR, unable to participate in traditional IUI or IVF methods, she identified her infertility issues via continual changes on her diet and lifestyle. Erica is going to be talking about infertility success despite low odds. Thank you.
The title of my talk today is Infertility Success Despite Low Odds, and I might have added to that even fewer choices. I'm Erica Hoke. I'm a fertility coach, and at age 35, I was told that I had a 1% chance of getting pregnant. Now I'm the infertile mom of 4 boys. I'm determined to share my story in order to help as many families as I can get to the family of their dreams and inspire hope. If you were waiting for a cliffhanger, I just spoiled it. By the way, I'm really super excited to be here talking to you today. Very humbled to be included among this group of speakers. If you happen to be watching online, I would appreciate it so much to know where you're watching from. You are looking at the poster child for not being able to get pregnant naturally and not being a candidate for reproductive medicine. If ever there was one, I'm the poster child. It took me over 20 years to get the 7 diagnoses that I ended up with that were all inhibitive to getting pregnant naturally. I had PCOS, I had uterine fibroids, I had ovarian cysts, I had MTHFR, I had factor V Leiden, I had thyroid disease, and I had MTHFR. I guess I'm a pretty optimistic person because despite all that, in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking, well, I'll be able to do IVF, right? If I can't get pregnant naturally because of all these 7 diagnoses, I'll be able to do IVF. Never imagining that IVF would not be an option for me, or even considering that IVF might not work for me. I remember sitting with my husband in the doctor's office, and we were waiting on another round of test results. I'm sure that you can relate, right? And he came in and he told us that in addition to the 7 diagnoses that I already had, I had 2 more to add to that list. I had DOR and I had low AMH. At 35, I didn't have enough eggs to do a retrieval, and I was already hyperovulating. So there goes my plan B down the drain. I remember that my heart just sunk to my feet, and I thought to myself, what in the world am I gonna do now? IVF was my backup plan, and now that's not even a choice for me. I got really angry after that, and I let that anger fuel my research and create a determination in me to be able to, be able to get to the bottom of what was causing the dysfunction in my body. So this is what my miracle unfolding looked like, because in the end, I did have 4 miracles, but even though my kids are miracles, I don't consider it luck. Okay, maybe one time I was lucky, but 4 times something shifted in my body, and there was some steps that I took that I want to share with you today in hopes that it will help you as well. I want to get it right, so I might have to look at my notes a little bit more this time. The first step in getting to the family of your dreams is make the decision to commit to yourself to do anything and everything that it takes to get to the family of your dreams. And I know that a lot of you might say to yourself, I've done that already. I feel like I'm there. There's nothing else left to do. I haven't met a client yet who has come to me and said the famous words of, they've run every single test. Everything came back normal. And I for sure am able to find testing that was overlooked. So committing to your own health and your own progress. There's a different sense of responsibility when you know it's up to you, that there's no one that's gonna come and save you, right? That's what I thought. I thought that the reproductive endocrinologist was gonna save me. You have to be committed to finding your own answers and taking responsibility for that. If you get discouraged and you find yourself thinking that there's no possible way out, I would say to you to memorize the phrase, oops, I recommit, and get yourself back on track. Realize you're here. And by here, I mean in the process of healing your infertility. Do I dare say that? Do you believe that your infertility can be healed? We're here for a reason. We might not know what that reason is right now, but I promise, regardless of the outcome, you will know why you were going through infertility one day. I know for myself, I went through infertility so that I could learn to advocate better for my own health and my family's health. I had to get to the point where I took responsibility for my own health and making sure that I was getting the care that I needed to get. So because you'll know the outcome someday, and because it is a process, and because you can't get out of it, if you want to go forward, you have to go through it. So we have to stop struggling against it. So what does struggling against it look like? Stop acting like everything is okay when it's not, okay? So we want to process your emotions. We're not talking about toxic positivity. We want to process those emotions out, whether it's journaling, whether it's somatic healing, whether it's talking to a therapist, whether it's any of the things like that are going to help you. You want to process your emotions and not just stuff those feelings down, right? Not being in the process and kind of embracing the journey looks like, I can't say that, being paralyzed by fear and doing nothing, okay? That's the other thing. So don't get yourself into a situation where you're so paralyzed and feel so hopeless that you do nothing. One of the other ways that we sabotage our healing infertility journey is by saying to yourself that what you do, meaning what you eat, what you drink, what you put on your skin and on your body, doesn't matter because the doctor gave you that pass, right? They said, oh, don't worry about those things. No offense to any doctors, because we have some fantastic doctors speaking here, but just because a doctor gave you that pass, you know when you eat that bowl of pasta or you eat that bowl of ice cream, how your body feels. Stop ignoring that because a doctor told you that drinking wine, coffee, eating this, eating that, not eating this, doesn't matter. You can feel it in your body, and we want to engage in those feelings, and we want to get you to an overall state of health with pregnancy as the outcome, right? By the way, the doctor already told you that they can't help you. So we have to sit in that too. So this is what your miracle unfolding looks like. What is the next first step of you taking an active role in your journey? What does that look like? Well, for me and for you, it might look like analyzing some risk versus reward. So for me, I had terrible cycles, very heavy, very painful. I had 2 laparoscopic surgeries for my fibroids, none of which came back with any findings of significance, but I was still having all these symptoms. So I was really afraid to do another surgery because I was afraid of the scarring that it might cause on my uterus. I've already been told there's no other options for me. I have terrible cycles and I'm already suffering every month. How much worse could it be? Could I make it by at least alleviating the pain and the discomfort of my cycles, right? At least I would have one positive outcome. When they did the 3rd surgery, the 3rd laparoscopic surgery, they did a saline infused laparoscopic, and they took so many fibroids out, it looked like a handful of aquarium gravel. That was what was causing my pain and discomfort. So pushing and advocating for myself and analyzing that risk versus reward really helped me to make the decision to move forward. Now, what that might look like for you might be different. It might be additional testing. There's tests beyond just a basic sperm analysis that are chromosomal tests that could help your partner. If you've had many repeat failed IVF processes, this might be something that you would look into. My friend actually lost her opportunity to use her own eggs because of a situation like this. So 6 failed IUIs, 6, 2 failed IVFs that included miscarriages along with that. And at the end, and this was the doctor's words, we'll do this simple blood test and we'll see if this is a problem for you. This was after 8 procedures and the loss of her eggs because that last procedure was the last eggs that she had left. Now they did find out that her husband had something called balanced translocation, and they did end up using donor eggs and created a family, but wouldn't it have been to their advantage to have that test earlier in the process? So we have to, when we're looking at additional testing and it costs a lot of money and we're already spending a lot of money, we have to look at that risk versus reward. Is it worth it to spend another, 10% and add that on to the cost if we're gonna get a positive outcome? Prioritizing how you feel, again, with overall health being the goal and pregnancy the outcome, is listening to your body and making sure that you're tuned in and that you're not just focused on pregnancy, right? So there's a lot of things, a lot of other things associated with that. So we talked about surgery. You might need additional blood testing. You might need additional hormone balancing. I encourage you, and the point that I'm trying to make is to get personalized testing. Thyroid, for instance, you can talk to your doctor about this because I'm not one, but they will tell you that your thyroid range is very large. So for me, for example, I had to have a very small window every time that I got pregnant. I was symptomatic, even though my thyroid levels were okay, I was still very symptomatic. I had dry skin, I had heart palpitations, I had all kinds of thyroid symptoms, but my thyroid was okay, but I had to push a little bit to make sure that I was getting personalized care. And if you're struggling with infertility and you have very few options, you need to look at a more personalized approach to what's going on with your body and what you can do to affect those symptoms, right? So the last point that I'm gonna make is time is gonna pass anyway. So let's make this good time with our spouse, good time with our partner. We have to get to a point in our journey where we are enjoying our life. We can't let infertility take over our life because it will choke the life out of your relationship with your partner, out of your life in general by hyper-focusing all of your effort there. So I created a little tool that I want to share with you today to help you with that. It's during the 2-week wait, which is the worst for all of us, right? And it's gonna help you just find more peace. It's gonna help you with your partner, connect with your partner in a better way. It's gonna help shift your mindset to something that is growth focused, excuse me, growth focused, and not just focused on your fertility. What are your goals that you have other than getting pregnant? Maybe it's a trip that you want to take. Maybe it's a hobby that you want to do. I want you to understand that you have the expectation of being pregnant at some point in the future. And when you have an infant and a toddler and a child, there are going to be limitations to those things. So focus on the things that are within your control and that bring you joy, right? That bring you joy, so that when that life that you're dreaming of comes to fruition, you're living the life that you want to live. So I'm helping women who have little chance find a path. And I help them customize solutions with their providers. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a course that I just launched that's a 12-week boot camp. All that to say, I want you to know that if you feel like I'm your person, I have those things available to you. But I have a free packet today that I want you to have, and I'm gonna put a link to the website where you can get that. And it's gonna give you a little jump start on that 2-week wait window. It's gonna help you, because if you can't cope, you can't continue. So that's gotta be the focus, is getting you through the 2-week wait and month after month, helping you with your mental health, right? And establishing a path and a course of action for you. So I hope that some of what I had to say today inspired some hope in your journey. And I want you to know that just because a doctor tells you that they can't help you, it doesn't mean that you can't get pregnant. Thank you so much for having me.